So today I'm going to take you through places that I've lived. It's a presentation that I built using Google Earth, and it's something that you guys are going to do as well. But this is like the finished product. So I created the URL and shared it with myself, and so I'm going to put it up here. It'll bring me to it, and then I simply click on Present to look at it in presentation mode as soon as it comes up.
Okay.
When you click Present, it'll look kind of like a Google slideshow. Okay. Birth. I was born in Los Alamos, New Mexico at Los Alamos Medical Center on February 11th, 1977. That's my slide. And then this is going to take you to a couple of places. First of all, it's going to take you to Los Alamos, New Mexico on the map. Right over here, you can find out more about that city. You can also click more info and see different pictures of it and things like that. Okay. All right. Next, it's going to take you to Los Alamos Medical Center, where I was born, and I was able to just kind of capture a screenshot of that from Google Maps. This is the hospital where I was born. Life in Los Alamos. My mom and I lived in an apartment on Urban Street. There was a neat park next to it. We also went to Ashley Pond frequently to play and feed the ducks. So the next thing I put in my presentation were the urban apartments. One of these apartments were the ones where we lived, and directly across the street was a park. The next thing it'll take you to is the pond that we used to go to feed the ducks. Here it is right here. Okay? Espanola, New Mexico. My mom and I moved to Espanola, New Mexico, where we lived in what we called the Serrano apartments because of who owned them. So next up, Google Earth is going to take you to Espanola. If you want to find out more about the little city, over here you can look at pictures. You can click on more info to find out more about it. Let's go to the next slide. In Espanola, we lived at the Serrano apartments, and here's a picture of them from Google Maps, from Google Earth. We lived in one of these apartments. Okay, next slide. My mom and I moved to Santa Fe, New Mexico for a short time, where we lived on Airport Road, and I attended Sunshine Kindergarten. It's no longer in existence, so I couldn't find anything in Google Earth for it. But here is the city of Santa Fe, New Mexico. You can find out more about it over here on the card on the right. You can click on points of interest, click on more info, and things like that. Okay. My next slide. Fairview, New Mexico, which is part of Espanola. My mom and I moved to a neighborhood in Espanola called Fairview, where I attended Fairview Elementary. I would walk to school every day, and my aunt and grandma both worked at the school. So next it's going to take you to the area of Fairview. Here is the house that we lived in. It did not look like this. It's been remodeled and used as something else now, but this was it. And the next thing that I'm showing you that I had it take you to is the elementary school I went to. It's called Fairview Elementary School. You can find out more about it here. You can click on more info to see pictures and things like that. It does not look like it did when I was there, but you can also see pictures and stuff like that. Okay? When you go to the next one, Espanola, New Mexico. My mom and I moved to a different place in Espanola behind the Rio Grande Sun newspaper building. I attended Espanola Elementary School. Here's a picture of the Rio Grande Sun apartments. They obviously did not look like this when we lived in them, but they have since been abandoned. They're not lived in anymore, but that's where we lived. Here, the next place is Espanola Elementary School, where I went. Here it is on the map. For more information, you would be able just to click here under more info. You can see pictures about it and things like that. Okay, next. Santo Niño, New Mexico, also a part of Espanola. My mom met my stepdad, and we all moved to a new house on Santo Niño Lane. I attended Sobrio Elementary. I also went to the Lucero Center often to play basketball and swim. So the next thing I have it taking you to is a satellite image of the house that we lived in. It's right down here. There was not a street view of it. Okay. After that, I'm going to take you over to Sombrio Elementary, where I attended school. They have since built another school, and it's not being used anymore, but here it is. This was the school. Now it's going to take you to the Lucero Center, where I used to go swim and play basketball and play in the park back there. So this was the Lucero Center. Next, Alcalde, New Mexico. We all moved to Alcalde, where my mom and stepdad purchased a house. They are still here to this day. I worked at a grocery store in Española during this time called Center Market. This is a little blurb about Alcalde, New Mexico. Here's the little card over here. You can find out more by clicking more info, but I'm going to go on to the next slide. It's going to take you to the actual place in Alcalde where our home is. My parents still live there to this day. This is their home. And this was Center Market, where I used to work. This is the grocery store right here. You can see it from satellite view, but you can click here to see more information about it. And then Waxahachie, Texas. In August of 1995, I moved to Waxahachie to attend college at Southwestern Assemblies of God University. A year later, my wife came to the same school from New York. It's where we met. We lived on campus for a year. Then we got married and lived in the Victorian Square apartments. We then bought our first home. After 8 years there, we have our current home built and have been there ever since. So here's the last few things I'll show you. Here's Waxahachie. This is the city of Waxahachie. This is on the map, but you can see more information about it right over here on these cards. After that, I'm going to show you Southwestern Assemblies of God University, where I attended college and got my bachelor's degree. This is a satellite image of it. You can click over here, obviously, to find out more information. Then I'm going to show you the Victorian Square apartments where we lived. Right over here, we lived in this bottom apartment right down here. And then we bought our first house just a few blocks away. It did not look like this. It was actually blue, like a Smurf. It was very blue. It looks different now. And finally, about 12 or 13 years ago, we had this house built and have lived there ever since. This picture's a little older. We have not had these vehicles for a few years, so you can tell. And this tree right here is much bigger now, so you can tell that the images in Google Earth aren't always up to date. But that's kind of my slides, my tour that I wanted to put together about the places that I've lived. I hope you have fun putting yours together.